welcome back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. A big welcome back to my beautiful returning subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being here and for your support of me, your support of each other, of course, in the comment section. And a special big, huge thank you to everyone who has reached out to me for a personal reading on Etsy or on Instagram, just to connect with me. I really appreciate your friendship, you guys. I really appreciate getting a chance to know you more on a personal level. And I'm so happy that you guys are a part of my soul family. And if you have found yourself here for the very first time, we want to welcome you to this space. We keep this space light. We keep it filled with love. I do pick a card readings on this channel, so please pull up a chair, grab yourself a cup of tea, some snacks, and we'll have a little bit of a chat because we're all friends when we gather at my table. So today's pick a card, we're asking the question, the person on your mind, are they happy now? Period, full stop. Are they happy now in their new environment? Are they happy, period? And do they ever think about you? So we have 3 piles for you to choose from today. We have pile number 1 here with the Unicorn Tarot. We have pile number 2 with the Ink Witch Tarot. And we have pile number 3 with Brit's Third Eye Tarot. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be a message waiting from Spirit today. And I'm going to jump right into pile number 1. Again, today's topic is the person on your mind, are they happy now? And do they ever think about you? Pile 1. Hi, pile 1. You were drawn to the Unicorn Tarot, and this is your reading. The person on your mind, are they happy now? And do they ever think about you? Do you ever cross their mind? So let's take a look at their current energy and how are they currently feeling in their life in general. Are they happy now in their new environment, in their current environment, in their life? 10 of Swords coming out first. 10 of Swords coming first for you. We have the 4 of Pentacles coming out with the Lovers. I'm going to pair those 2 together for now because they fell out together. Are they happy now? The 10 of Cups. We have the 7 of Cups. It's showcasing itself here with the Ace of Pentacles and the Fool. But we're going to keep those and see if they pop back up again. Are they happy? We have the Death energy. Back of the deck is the Queen of Swords. And we have the World. So already what I'm really seeing in this person's energy is kind of... And I don't want to use a term like it is what it is, because I don't think that innately they're unhappy in their life. But I feel like there are things about their journey that they would change if they could, like we all do, of course. There is a sense of them kind of coming full circle and coming to a revelation when it comes to certain things of their past. I do feel like they've sort of transformed, and ultimately they do see themselves as a successful person. They do see themselves as someone who is generally a happy person here with the 10 of Cups. But with the 10 of Cups, you can see the rainbow, and rainbows don't come unless we've weathered some storms. You know, rainbows don't come, and some of the storms that this person has weathered is about their past and is about a past situation where they feel like they made a poor decision. With this 2 of Swords, they were very passive perhaps in their decision making in the past when it comes to their past lovers, even maybe in their life in general. Maybe they were just one of those people that just can't seem to make a choice and act upon it in a timely way, and those opportunities slipped through their fingers. This 2 of Swords is a recognition that I didn't see things clearly in this situation, and so the suffering that they've experienced up to now has involved that thought, something that they have to release, that they had their ego set upon. And I think that they are really proud of what they have built. I think that they probably have children, potentially. They may be partnered off. And I will say this, that it took them a really long time to get to this place of satisfaction. And they may be sort of in the midst of truly honing their skill set in appreciating that moment fully. You know, we all tend to live in any other moment other than the present, whether it be the past, whether it be the future that we're worried about. We live in every other moment, and I feel like this person is like challenging themselves almost to appreciate the beauty that's sitting right in front of them, because there are good things in their life. but they are still very, very possessive over something in the past. And it kind of plays with them too, because it's a possession that they feel. It's almost like an entitlement that they feel to this thing, this person in the past. It could be connection to you, of course, because it's someone they're very attracted to. And it's something that they've had to look at it from a very logical perspective in order to start the process of moving forward. And they are trying to. They're trying to move on from this situation. The problem is that the love that they feel, or the feelings that they have for this situation in the past that they're trying to release, they were really invested there. And so and it feels like a person. I can't lie and say it doesn't feel like a person, because it does. And it's almost like, even though they are happy here and there's satisfaction here, and there's fulfillment with the Ten of Cups. That's a beautiful energy in the present. There is still something that tempts to kind of lure them away from that. You can see she's a mermaid. She's holding that cup with the rainbow in that cup. It's like she has the power to make me second guess everything that I have in my life, even though what I have in my life looks pretty nice and looks pretty rosy from the outside of things. And it's not even from the outside of things, because we're dealing with emotion. So they can appreciate what they have. You have the Eight of Wands. And so we're starting to get into this energy of, who is this person from the past? And we're going to ask Spirit specifically about you in a moment here, because they're definitely thinking about somebody. They're definitely thinking about something. But what is interesting here is that they have, back of the deck here is the Two of Cups with the Knight of Pentacles. They have come to a very comfortable position in their life. They are building a foundation. They are, really focused on what their goals are in this foundation, and they're really focused upon building a victorious end there. I feel like they are satisfied in their relationship, but there's always this thing that challenges that, right? Because this was a very difficult release for them in the past. And I feel like they were reeling from that loss for a really long time. I think it took them a while to get to this place. And on the other side of this Ten of Cups is the Seven of Cups with the Eight of Wands, which is like the urge for movement. They fantasize about charging in somewhere. They fantasize about change, because this is really wonderful and comfortable. But sometimes we can feel a little dissatisfied when we're sitting in the present moment. It's almost like we don't train ourselves to be satisfied, because we're always looking for more. But they have sort of settled into this situation. They have settled into their life at this time. So let's take a look and see if they ever think about you. And I'm going to switch the decks for this. I'll just pull this up, actually, because I think that'll be easier for us. Do they ever think about you? Do you ever cross their mind? And if you do, what are their thoughts? Do they ever cross your mind? Yeah. Oh, yes. Two of Cups. They do think about even reaching out to you too, because you represent this exciting road. You represent something to be explored. You represent something that challenges all of those, you can see they almost look like pyramids off in the distance. All of the foundation that they're a part of, it's like risk, but it feels exciting. It feels exciting, this risk. I just saw the Death card as well. So we saw that Knight of Pentacles in your first spread, and here is the Knight of Pentacles connected to the High Priestess. So the responsibilities that they feel in their environment, they definitely feel the weight of those on their shoulders. And so to escape that reality, because it's not easy, even though they're experiencing happiness in their present moment, it's not easy trudging along in life. Sometimes life is very humdrum. Sometimes life is exciting. Sometimes life is really sad, but they could be in a really kind of a humdrum point right now. So they do kind of suppress some of their feelings for you. They don't share that they feel things for you still. And we have this Nine of Cups, which is about fantasy. Somebody who, though, is sitting pretty smugly in their own position right now, So it's kind of like, I want my cake and I want to eat it too. It's like, I want everything that I have, but it'd be nice to have this experience as well. We have the Nine of Swords. Back of the deck is the Four of Wands with the Eight of Swords. So as much as they presented happiness, they still can perceive that they could have found happiness with you too. It's like they recognize that now. And I think there's an acknowledgement in that too, that, you know, your happiness is where you, like, you make your own happiness in your environment. You're the one, you're the creator of your own happiness. And that's what this person is saying too, is that I'm the creator of my own happiness here. They do dream about you. And when they allow themselves to really sink in, because they are still kind of holding on with these nines, they are still kind of holding on to the fantasy, to the thought process, but it's this continued process that led them to that beach that we saw in the Ten of Swords earlier. They like to fantasize about you, so they definitely think about you, and I think that they think about you often. And especially about reaching out. Because as the time has progressed, I feel like this person has almost really gained spiritual awareness. It's like they have ascended in more ways than just practically, and they understand the dynamics of your connection in some way, because they've had clarity restored to them about the truth of you and this connection. And they saw this as something that had so much potential, and they still kind of feel that charge, and so it challenges their position now still, because it's given them a cause to take pause here. They think about everything that they've built with perhaps another person, and it's building up to something beautiful, profound, and really really stable. Really stable. So it's something that they're really keen on finishing through, because they can picture this in their mind and they want that so badly. They want that. And they know that the path that they're on can lead them there. But that doesn't stop them from wishing that they could say a few things. Like, they have still a few things that they want to get off of their chest. Clearing the air. It's like closure. They're like, if I could just get some closure here, but that's always kind of tricky, isn't it? Because that's what Spirit says. It's not actually closure that they're keen on. It's wonder. It's curiosity. It's decision. It's like a choice that they have to make because they want to move forward, or they fantasize about that. But they also don't want to hurt. I feel like their partner could be an air sign, because we saw that Queen of Swords in the back of the deck earlier as well. And logic tells them that they could hurt other people if they came towards you with clarity on the situation. And so they do have intent to keep these feelings to themselves and to maintain their position where they are, because otherwise they feel like it could just blow up in everyone's face. But they definitely think about you, and it challenges them. This back is the World and the Temperance, because the World matches success, and it's taken them some time to come full circle where they feel successful. And it's because perhaps of an imbalance that this connection created for them in the past as well. What are their thoughts when they think about pile one, please? You have time to go. Time to go. Holding on to a connection, but recognizing that it may not be leading to anything further moving forward. And so they are acknowledging that they should release, because it's not a path that will equate to them feeling victorious. Even though it could, if they chose that path, it could lead them to happiness. This is also the challenge that you still kind of present to them in their present energy as well, though. Because if they can fantasize or perceive shifts and changes or an abundant relationship with you, then it gives them an inclination, more permission to kind of perhaps walk away from that situation. But I don't think that they have the intention to do so, if I'm honest. I don't think that that's, yeah, we have here not for you. But it's in this delicate balance, right? It's balancing on the fingertips, this chess game, this fortune cookie. Because that's the seed that you planted. They wonder still, it's like, was this a really special connection for me? What would have happened? It's like, if I'm satisfied now and I'm pretty happy now, what would have happened if I went with this person? What would have happened if I had explored that road? Because it's like no matter what position we're in, we're always looking outside of ourselves to see what else we could experience. And there is a sense of wanting to bring forward an apology or some sort of clarity between the two of you because they feel like that's necessary here. Like there's things that need to be said, things that need to be expressed. What are some of their thoughts for pile 1, please? It says, I'm coming, but I don't feel like they are, to be honest. The Page of Wands, it came up over top of the Page of Wands. And it feels like they fantasize about you in a very sexual energy, a very sexualized way. I knew the first moment I saw you that there was something very, very special about you. And I want to know if you miss us the way that I miss us. Do you think about me too? Because that's the other thing. That's the other avenue here. It's like they don't know if you feel the same way. I would like to see you again. And I don't know how much longer I can do this. And that's why they need to heal. They're like, there needs to be a shift because I don't want to, they are, you know, feeling that happiness in their life, but they don't want to have to continually experience it almost feels like in a chronic longing for something, a chronic longing for like the house that could have been. Because I keep hearing that Dixie Chicks home song in my mind. Back of the deck says, I can't come forward right now. So I'm coming, but I can't come right this moment. What are their current thoughts? Pile 1. 9 of Hearts, 9 of Cups, fulfillment, harmony, protection, protecting this connection. They put you in a very special place, yin yang, yeah, very special place. Back of the deck says intuitive communication, silent whispers of the heart. Because even if you're in no contact, and I feel like many of you are in no contact, there's still something going on behind the surface. That's why you're asking this question, because you can feel something, a restlessness perhaps. But they are presenting as someone who is feeling pretty satisfied. Not 100% satisfied, but pretty satisfied. What are their thoughts? But you are like the one that got away. You're like the curiosity that they didn't get to explore. And that's always going to leave them wondering, have you blocked me? Is coming out. Do they ever think about you? I love you, but. I don't like the word but. It produces a caveat that doesn't have to be there. It's like, I'm sorry, but I love you, but there's always excuses. I have to pretend like I don't care, but I do. And this is taking a long time. This is taking forever. Can we even start over? And I also pulled that smile, though. Something very enigmatic about your smile, something that they can't get out of their mind. Back of the deck says, wake up call. They had to take the course that they're on in order to understand the connection that the two of you were in. Let's get a charm bowl here for you, pile 1. Will this person make contact with you in the future? For pile number 1 in the bowl, please. 5 of Cups, sideways, very passive energy, in a state of mourning this really profound connection. And they're very passive, and yet they want results right away without action. The 9 of Cups is reverse. It's like, I want results right now, but I don't want to have to necessarily risk anything to get there. So very passive energy here, focused on the reflection. And not really feeling like there's a lot of hope moving forward. So I don't feel like this person will reach out to you in a timely way, pile 1. Always remember, I'm dealing with collective energy, of course, though. So if this doesn't resonate with you, you can try a different pile or a different reading. We also have the High Priestess here. We have the High Priestess, somebody very intuitive and somebody hiding their feelings for you. It's next to the Cross. So this could be a very spiritual person based in Christianity, perhaps to begin with. We have, you are always in my heart, and there's a need for mending. We saw the mending card as well with the button. We have, thou shalt not bear false witness, so somebody lying about their feelings. And then we have the Empress with the starfish, which is my symbol for the divine feminine who requires healing in this connection. All right, group 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, I would love to hear your story below in the comments section. And if you do drop me a comment, be sure to subscribe and hit your notification bell so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check me out on Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to, and that link is below. But I do hope that you come back here for another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. Hi, Pile 2. You were drawn to the Ink Witch Tarot here. And this is your reading. The person on your mind, are they happy now? And do you ever cross their mind? So we're going to look into their current energies and if they're satisfied or happy in their life. We do have here the Nine of Wands reversed and the Four of Wands reversed. We have the Ten of Wands. Is the person on your mind happy now? A lot of fire energy here. They could be a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. They, of course, don't have to be. But there's a lot of fire here. Ace of Cups. Are they happy now? The World. We have the Death energy. Back of the deck, we have the Emperor. Let's clarify this row, please, before we go forward. Are they happy now in their life? We have the Five of Swords. So I feel like coming from the past here, they are not very happy because and I'm not saying that's the trajectory of the present, but there is definitely a dissatisfaction, a frustration that they've expressed. And then the Four of Wands reversed. So it's like a breakup, a separation, leaving home arguments, just a lot of tribulations with the Five of Swords, just a lot of conflict in their life, a lot of challenges, and a lot of burdens on their shoulders in the recent past here too. Uncertainty of how to move forward. A lot of pressure on their back because I think they were really focused on something or someone in the past here too. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Just saw the Empress. Are they happy? Ten of Swords. The Six of Wands. The Three of Wands. Back of the deck, we have the Eight of Swords, the Hanged Man. Now, what is interesting about this is that we have here right in the center of your reading, the Ace of Cups, which is talking about an emotional new beginning. And then it's followed up by the World, which for me as a reader, if I had none of the clarifying cards, I would say, okay, well, this looks, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to me. And then we get the clarifiers out, and here we are with this Ten of Swords energy. And I want to clarify that Ace of Cups before I go any farther, please, Spirit. Three of Cups reversed. So this person has surrendered into a new beginning. I don't think that they're happy about it. I will say this, they struggled to come to this point where they are like, you know what, I can't continue the way that I've been. I can't continue. And I just have to surrender to how things are. I have to surrender to the way that it is, because the Ten of Swords is here as a support to this Ace of Cups. It's a new emotional start, but you can see here that it's a cup of tea. It's like rest. It's like calm. It's like something there's a heart in here. It's like we need this new emotional reset because we cannot handle this cycle. It's over. This cycle here is over. And they're not happy about this cycle being over. But there were so many delays and frustrations amidst this cycle that it's like they know that they need it to be over. And that's the difference here. That's the separation. Because the Three of Cups is in reversed. And there's a sense of like worrying about gossip and worrying about, it's like I feel like there's no support for me. And I feel like I have no support over here. So if I want to have anything good in my life, I have to move forward, because they could even be in a bit of a depression, if I'm honest right now. They could be in a bit of a mental funk because of everything that they've experienced in the past. But it's like I'm ready to level up. I'm ready to stop fighting for this in the past, and I know I need to move forward. And so there's a part of them that's really optimistic about that. Like they're like, okay, I've made the decision, because I think it took them a long time to come to that decision of like, yes, whatever they're experiencing in the present, you know, whatever, they want to move forward from the past. And it's going to require them to release certain expectations that they've really fueled their ego with. You know, they've really gone over the top and said, I want this, 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 this. And their egos and the universe is like, well, no, you can't have that right now. So now they have to release it. And so that brings them to a little bit of a victory. They're not feeling it yet. The victories below, they're not feeling that victory yet. But they will. They're going to expand. They're going to move forward through this release. And it's going to increase their options. It's going to make them feel more powerful, because right now it's like they've stepped back and they're like, they pale in comparison to what they assume is their former self and what they presented to the world. And this death energy is really talking about being very close to the precipice of a rebirth. And it's because they're going to release, you know, their temptations on something in the past. This Three of Wands, they want expansion, and they've been overthinking about this. And this is a relationship. Here's the Death again. This is a relationship that has been plaguing them so much that it's brought them to this beach, to this place of feeling entrapped. And they don't feel like this is going to ever become better. And that could just be their perception of things, because they are in this mentality of the Eight of Swords. They are stuck in a prison of their own design. But I feel this person really, I feel like they were the ones putting themselves in there through the resistance here, through holding on to these wands, through holding on to this situation. And now the natural surrender, the release of that is going to usher them into a calmer place. It's going to take them time to get there. They're not there yet. They're not 100% happy yet. And I feel like they are struggling, but they've come to a conclusion. And that's the first step. It's like making that decision. It's like admitting you have the problem is the first step. And that's what they've done. They've admitted, I have a problem and I need to move forward. And this problem feels like it's very much connected to a person, to a relationship that they overthink about a lot. They ruminate about over. And it's like reality has to hit them that it's over. And that's really difficult for them to do at this time. So let's shift gears and see if this person is, if you ever cross their mind. I'm going to switch the decks here. Do pile 2 ever cross group 1's mind? And if they do, what are some of these thoughts that they have? 9 of Pentacles. And you saw that 9 of Pentacles in your first spread as well. Do you ever cross their mind? 7 of Wands. The King of Swords. I just heard benchmark of my failure. The King of Swords is the master of thought. And this person, you challenge them, I feel like, a lot. You challenge that thought. We have the Page of Pentacles. Back of the deck is the 4 of Pentacles. I definitely feel like you crossed their mind because this King of Swords has had time to ruminate about you. They've had time to think things through to the point where they've come to certain conclusions. They've come to certain revelations. 2 of Pentacles. The Page of Wands. And I do feel like amidst their climb to their current state, it was you potentially that they were juggling here. It was that energy. It was you that they were juggling. And I feel like they put off the release for as long as they possibly could. And for some of you, they haven't even fulfilled that completely yet. They haven't come full circle. You have the Empress. And it feels like some of the conclusions they've come to have been bittersweet in nature too. The 8 of Cups. And honestly, it's from this connection that they feel the necessity to remove themselves emotionally. It's through this, their feelings for you, their thoughts for you, that they feel like they have to remove themselves emotionally from the situation. That's the logical step, they said. That's the only logical step I can make to move forward, to gain new opportunities, new pathways. To finish the cycle of completion. It's like I've been putting off this leap. I've been putting off this revelation. And they've been battling because of their, you know, their really strong connection to you, because of their almost addiction, in a sense, to you. They've been kind of putting off this revelation. Because it's not that they don't know who you are. It's not that they don't think that you're a special person and that it's that they recognize it's not good for them right now. It's not good for them or their position at this moment. We have the World. We have the 7 of Cups, and we have the Chariot. They definitely think about you, and they think about the choices that they made in the past and how they perhaps made them from a very guarded energy. And they felt like they were kind of blinded by maybe too many options too. And they wonder about you now, about how you visualize the situation, how you see the situation before the two of you. Because I feel like if they knew what you thought explicitly, it would influence their decision about this release, that they feel like they need to move forward. But because they don't, they come to their own conclusions because they think that they're really, really intelligent. And they are a really smart person. But that's why the Lovers is so important, because Spirit wants them to make this decision based on logic and based on seeing things from every perspective. We have Victim and Complacency. So they definitely, oops, sorry about the wobble, guys. They definitely think about you, but they are in a victim mentality, and it's their ego that challenged them in that place. And that's their ego that kind of kept them stagnant here too. Because the ego is like, well, it's the right person, but the wrong time. And we have to plant this at the right time in the right conditions in order to thrive. And it's so scary right now. And you shouldn't do it. And it's too scary. And the squirrel's here challenging that. It's like if we want to be vulnerable, if we want to ascend, we have to be vulnerable. We have to do things afraid. This person's, you know, I feel like a lot of time has gone by. And they are little, I don't like the word complacent, but they have surrendered to where they are. There's a certain amount of release because they feel it's necessary here. We have Quest on the back of the deck as well. What do they think about when they think about pile number 2, please? I want to feel that way again. And that's why I heard benchmark of my failure. It's like I'm dealing with collective energy, so there's multiple energies coming in. And I had this message that came in that said, you know, that this sometimes represents a time and a place. It's like I had these 2 doorways in front of me and I chose poorly. And you represent that feeling. My life is not together as it seems. But they're heading in that direction. They want it to be as together as it seems. They want to feel emotionally whole again, and they don't right now. Because the truth is that they still want you, and they're fighting against that. They're fighting against that fantasy. I remember every detail of that day. I regret lying to you and not sharing my feelings with you when I had the opportunity, perhaps. I also have here, I'm not available. So they may have moved on into another connection, which is why they have options, which is why they have to make a decision. I do want to be more than friends. And it really feels like this, you may have not even had a relationship with this person. You may have just truly been friends with this person, and it should have evolved because they want to explore. And all they have to go on is their fantasies. So they put you on a really high pedestal in those fantasies. What are their thoughts when they think of you, when you cross their mind? I know that you're my twin flame. They've come to those revelations. They don't necessarily feel like they can do anything about it, but they know who you are. Don't think because we don't talk, I don't want to, because I do. I just saw I've been sending you messages in the 5D. I've been putting myself first, and I'm seeing it's only hurting me more. I want to dedicate a song to you. They may really connect with you through music. Have you ever had those moments where you're driving in the car and you're thinking of a song and you flip on the radio, and maybe you're thinking of a person too, and you flip on the radio and that song is playing? Those little synchronicities aren't happenstance. They are really purposeful. They're little signs from spirit, and that may happen to this person quite a bit. They have been manifesting this connection for a long time, but I do feel a certain amount of release coming in from this person's energy as well. What are their thoughts when they think about you? Round and round and round and round. Oh, it's such a challenge. You are the reflection of that Seven of Wands. You are the challenge. You are this, and it keeps coming around full circle, and they feel like they have to hide it. And you may have spent many lifetimes with this person as well, trying to navigate these very types of scenarios, and they're looking for peace now. Their challenge ahead of them now, because they've recognized the need for it. They've recognized perhaps their incapacity to create change, and so now they're trying to focus on that inner balance that is so important. We have TikTok, divine timing is at work here, but they also feel like maybe time is not on their side. Timing is not on their side at this time. It's like the right person, the wrong time. Let's get a charm bowl for you, pile 2. What is the future of this connection? Will this person ever reach out to pile number 2? 6 of Cups reversed. Ace of Swords, Death first. No, they won't reach out to you. I'm sorry, pile 2. At least for most of you watching, there is this unrealistic expectation towards the clarity that we're seeking here. And Spirit's asking us to be more sort of aware of the stuckness of the situation, because the Death is even reversed, which means that there is a real chance that there's no further action. There's a real stagnation, or it's like hope being destroyed when the Death is reversed. So I don't feel like this person will make contact, because they're convincing themselves it's unrealistic. And if they convince themselves that enough, that becomes gospel. Oh, I almost cut myself. We have Y and I. Lots of letters for you, pile 2. R, the letter V, the letter T, and the letter Q. We do have Chanel number 5 here. I think about May, the 5th of any month, and I think about somebody who maybe hides behind appearances, or who hides behind material things. We have here a penny, and it is from 1999. So communication, that may have been when communication stopped, so take that as it resonates. We have the guitar pick, and there was definitely a musical connection, so you may resonate with the interpersonal communication that happens through music, through the spiritual realm. And we have the 4 of Pentacles, so somebody who's concerned about their home, what they've built up for themselves, and someone who's a little bit possessive still of you in this connection. All right, pile 2, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates. If it did, I would love to hear your story below in the comment section. So please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell and your like button, and drop me that comment so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check me out on Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to. I do update the shop at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on weekdays, so keep checking back. But I hope that you come back here for another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Hello, pile 3. You are drawn to the Brit's Third Eye Tarot, and this is your reading. The person on your mind, are they happy now? And do you ever cross their mind? And if you do, what are some of their current thoughts of you? So we're going to start with, are they happy at this moment? Are they happy in their life? We're starting with the Justice energy. So Justice is all about balance, and it's about truth. It's about position. It's about cause and effect. 10 of Wands, 9 of Cups. There's almost a sense of them saying, I had this dream of what my life would look like, and I went down that exact path seeking my happiness. And what I found is a lot of obstacle. It's like I'm juggling a lot because of the choices I made. We have the 3 of Wands reversed. And they feel kind of like, it's like they feel delayed. They feel setbacks. They feel frustrated. Ace of Pentacles. This could be in the work realm. They're feeling kind of dissatisfied because I feel like they want something different in the work realm. So they may be kind of dissatisfied there. But I think that their dissatisfaction is just a generalized malaise, it feels like, because it's like the education, quote unquote, that I've received on my path, it's led me to the fact to say that I want to ditch my course perhaps, or I don't want to be perhaps building what I'm building. It's like they want to shift something. Can we clarify the Justice, please? Are they happy now? The Six of Wands. They went in, you know, they went into their life filled with optimism, filled with good intentions. They had goals. They're goal-oriented. They're a dreamer, I feel. But there's the Seven of Pentacles, and there's the Hermit energy. And I feel like as much as they're all of those things, especially in the past, they're such like focused on what their life would hold. It's kind of like when I was a kid and I would go through the Sears catalog and I'd circle everything that my house would have. It's like this person's focused on what builds a good life, you know? But when they got to that point of everything that they wanted, quote unquote, they have paused. They've taken a moment to be like, okay, well, what am I building here? Am I actually building what I want? And I feel like there's a lot of dissatisfaction in their work realm. Work realm is a big issue here for them. Their position that they hold is a big issue for them. And so they've taken time to be like, okay, well, I'm feeling restless in this path that was supposed to fulfill me. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm not happy with this position. And so it's like they've taken a point to stop, to regroup. Because this is causing frustrations and delays. So they're like, okay, I'm going to take a pause. And that's the current state of what they're going through at this moment. Is they're juggling a lot of things in their life because they're making a big decision right now about new plans being forged. And I feel like they could be shifting gears as far as moving or work realm as well. We have the High Priestess and we have the Fool. So I don't think they're unhappy. It doesn't feel like they're unhappy. It's just a recognition of like, okay, I'm not satisfied here, so I'm feeling frustrated. So they're a little bit frustrated, but that frustration is fueling the necessary reflection period that has to come after that frustration to reignite them, to get them on a new course. And it's their higher self that is leading this charge as well, encouraging them actually in this realm. Two of Wands. Back of the deck is the Three of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. So they're in a place of rebuild for you, Pile 3. And it doesn't feel like it's I'm not even associating this with a relationship right now. It feels really much strongly focused on the work realm and on coin. It's like dissatisfaction for what they've built because this person wants to be respected. They want to be a leader. You know, this is what they wanted for themselves, but they need a shift. And they need to step out of their comfort zone to do it. And that, I think, bothers them. So they're feeling really restless in their need for that healing. But it's a foundation phase for them, meant to pull them out of this realm and to instill a little bit more passion inside of them. Because I feel like where they're being led in life is to almost a complete entrepreneurial realm for some. So it's not that they're unhappy per se in the present energy. They're frustrated with their life right now, with the choices that they made. And I think they're frustrated mostly because this path that they took should have led them to happiness. And they're like, why am I not happy here? I'm just feeling unhappy, restless, delays. And they're on a quest, yeah. They could actually be physically moving as well in order to quest. And I feel like it's a connection to career for them. But they're in the midst of expansion because they're not feeling satisfied right now. And their attempt to maintain all of this satisfaction is leading everybody unhappy. And so they're setting themselves on a new course. They are worried about what other people's perspectives of this shift will be. They are worried about that. But I don't think they're going to concern themselves with it too much because Spirit says they're putting one foot in front of the other and just trying to move through this phase as quickly as possible. because this person feels very direct as well. So they're not unhappy necessarily, but they're not blissfully happy yet. They're a work in progress, and they could be in the midst of like a big upheaval in their life as far as, but it doesn't feel like a tower moment either, right? It just feels like a decision that they're entering into, that they're making changes. So let's look into, do you ever cross their mind amidst this life that they're building? And if you do, what are some of those thoughts that they're having? I'm going to switch the decks here. Do you ever cross their mind? Four of Wands, and it's sideways. Aww. I'm just going to turn this light on. And I keep hearing that song from, it's a country music song. I wonder if I ever cross their mind. Four of Wands, do you ever cross their mind? Knight of Cups. Yeah, they think about like, I should have went for that. I should have been bolder. I should have like, there's the Nine of Cups. It's like, I should have been bolder here. I should have explored this gateway a little bit more. And I feel like they really let their insecurity stop them, perhaps. Because I feel like there was a lot of flirting, perhaps, here between the two of you. And definite mutual interest. The Seven of Wands. We have the Magician. Nine of Pentacles. Back of the deck is the Six of Cups. Of course they do. Of course they do. Pile 3. And it's a beautiful, loving energy, actually, at the Six of Cups. And they have found it sort of difficult. There's to release, I will say. They found it very difficult to kind of sever that. And it's proved to be quite the challenge for them, even in the present. It's quite the challenge. Because they still like to fantasize about you. They still like to think about what could have been here if they had entered into the unknown. But that's why this Page of Wands, or this, I'm sorry, the Four of Wands is coming out sideways, because they're like, I didn't enter into the unknown. The Moon. And you know what? That hesitation, they feel like, has cost them quite a bit. Yeah, they feel like it, because they really are saying, you know, we could have, who knows what we could have built together. We could have built it all, because I feel like this person was special, and I feel like our connection was special, and I feel like it should have gone somewhere, and I should have revealed myself, but I was too afraid. And that's what they think about. It's like, I think about the consequences of that, and I feel like because of that lesson, you have helped them to ascend into more of a power energy. And that's why they're not really hesitating now with this new rebirth that they need to make in their life, because they've applied how they felt about you in the past and the lessons that they learned by not acting towards you. They've applied that now to their life in every other situation. They're like, I'm not going to let myself get disappointed like this in any other realm. So you have played a very important role in helping them to ascend in a practical scale, because you planted seeds of sad. I want to say seeds of sadness because of the separation, but it's seeds that they planted, actually. The Ten of Swords. Oh, this is such, in all of my decks, I think that this particular deck has the most violent and gory Ten of Swords I've ever seen. This deck is a deck of fairy tales, and in this fairy tale, this father and daughter had to go across this open water, which had a lot of gods or something underneath. There was something very dangerous under the water that he had to make a sacrifice to in order to go across, and he sacrificed his child, his daughter, and the gods felt so sorry for her that they made her into a goddess below the surface of the water, and she lives there still, they say. But it's about release, you know. It's about a very necessary sacrifice, a very necessary release, because it's not good for me anymore. It's not good for me anymore, and I'm recognizing that it's impeding me. So this lesson that they learned about not speaking up towards something that they truly wanted is serving them now, which is great, but it's also kind of bittersweet. And I mean, how many times have we said to ourselves, if I could only know what I know now back then, you know, it would change the whole game for us. You have the Four of Pentacles. Back of the deck is the Five of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. I do feel for someone watching, and this isn't for everyone, but if it's for you, you probably know that it is. I do feel like for someone watching that you've moved on into another relationship. I feel like they've moved on into another relationship potentially as well, because they're very protective of their space now. But they want you to, there's a beautiful energy of this buzzard, this vulture. It's like Spirit wants you to know that nothing was wasted back here. It's not being wasted. It's being used. It's being transmuted into something useful for this person right now. And it was a very, and continues to be, and will continue to be, a very painful release. It's a struggle that they're still in the midst of. That's what Spirit wants you to understand. This is what we're not seeing about this person, and how you are holding them back. And not that you are holding them back, they're holding themselves back, but it's the memory of you that is keeping them in this state of mourning. Even though they have beautiful things in their life, even though they're making moves in their life, they're not 100% satisfied, but I feel like they're focused enough and goal-oriented enough that they're going to move themselves out of that realm. But they are still, the lights are on up here on the hill. They're still thinking about you, even though there are things, practically speaking, that are getting in the way that they perhaps wouldn't wield change. Because again, there's the long braid, the long plait. It's like I have to survive the opinions of others, and that's what I'm not willing to do right now. I'm not willing to break up these foundations. They don't want to create chaos for you or for themselves by communicating with you at this time. But they want to. They definitely have a lot to say, and that's what they want to say. It's a beautiful reunion. It's a balancing out of the energy. And if we have the Six of Cups here representing the connection that you guys have, here's the Six of Pentacles, reflecting perhaps the connection or the position that they're a part of right now. It's a very karmic situation. But karmic situations are not to be always poo-pooed. Karmic situations are very necessary, and there's a lot to be gained there. Even love can be gained in a karmic situation. We just set it apart in this sense. They're very passive about creating change here, but they're acknowledging the influence that you've had on their journey, and that you continue to have on their journey, and that your continued influence here. It's like the ego still utilizes their feelings for you. I don't want to say against them, but utilizes it towards them when they are pressing against change. What are some of their thoughts, their personal thoughts, when they think about lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything aligned must go? And they want to clear up confusion, but that's what they're in, this kind of clear-cutting mood right now. They're in a state of like, okay, we're not going to return to the past mistakes. We're going to create change. If I'm dissatisfied, I'm going to act upon it. And we have Earth, learning how to be human in a world, but not learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. I love this card. It reminds us that we are here, but we're not from this place. You know, we're on a spiritual vacation. And you have taught, again, there's many valuable lessons that you have helped this person to kind of learn. And they're in the midst of many of those lessons. And they're utilizing those lessons in order to fuel their success and to fuel their ascension. Back of the deck says, empathetic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. And you may find that you connect to this person, or that you feel them, and perhaps mutually the two of you may pick up on each other's emotions. You may be very empathic as well. That helps you to do that. What are some of their thoughts for pile 3, please? I can't make the first move towards you. And they do feel sort of hesitant to make shifts or changes here to their position. But again, it's an acknowledgement that they're still protecting their energy towards you, that they still hold you in a really special place. That's what they want you to understand with the Six of Cups. That's a permanent type of love. It's a permanent type of innocent type of love, I should say. And that's permanent. Doesn't matter, you know, how much time has passed. But what is striking me about this card right now is that crow that's just sitting there not speaking. The crow can utilize its voice box, and they didn't. I want to see you again. I do feel stuck. You send me mixed signals, and in the past, you guys may have, I feel like there was a lot of flirting. So I said in the beginning, lots of flirtation here. And I think it was like almost right in your face flirting, like obvious flirting. I didn't realize I loved you until it was too late. Back of the deck says, I don't know how to tell you the truth now. Because it's like position just doesn't allow me to do that at this time. What are their current feelings, please? What are their thoughts when they think about pile number 3? Wanting to communicate, wanting a new emotional cycle. But it feels like they want to go back to the past and do a do-over. It's like they don't want to create havoc in their situation right now, but they wish that they could go back in time. I worry about us a lot, and I could be your hero, baby. Always feigning confidence when they were with you in the past, pretending, perhaps acting overly confident around you, being overly flirtatious with you. Your family won't like me, especially if you are in another connection. They think that your life doesn't hold space for them at this point. You taught me so much, and I finally see things clearly now. And it's kind of a bittersweetness, actually, I'm feeling to that card. They also want to say that they're so sorry. They're so sorry. Here's that Knight of Cups, and this is the Knight of Cups. They're so sorry that they were so hesitant. They're so sorry that they didn't just risk it then. But it's almost like they're appreciative of the lesson that you've brought forward in their life because they're using it. Let's get a charm bowl for you. Will you see this person again in the bowl for pile 3? We have the 8 of Cups coming out. Will you see this person again? King of Swords, 5 of Pentacles in the reverse position. I don't feel like for most of you, you will see this person again. I do feel like there might be communication that kind of opens up. But this is going to be potentially even years from now. It's going to be a while. The 8 of Cups is about walking away from something that's no longer serving us. It's about, you know, not feeling emotionally fulfilled in a situation. And then this King of Swords is sitting here with the truth. But I don't feel like he's going to wield it forward with that 5 of Pentacles. I feel like he's going to use the lesson. He's going to use the lesson. And it was a hard one that empowered him for the future. And that's what Spirit wants us to understand about our journeys here. It's like a play. It's like we're entering into a meat suit. And it's like the Matrix. We're putting on a role, but it's not who we are. So there's no fear of like leaving our connections behind or severing them permanently, because Spirit says that that's really difficult to do. But this person is using their lessons that they've gained in this connection and using it to help themselves in a practical sense. But I don't feel like they will communicate, or I don't feel like you'll see each other, at least not for a very, very long time. We have the Snake, somebody who is temptation, somebody who is addictive. We have C and F and G. Somebody who doesn't want to be seen as a snake as well. And we have the Shovel. Somebody who feels like they're digging themselves a deeper hole. This could be you or this person. We do have the High Priestess with the shell. And I think about secrets. And I think about, you know, someone who is holding back their true feelings. We have do as you would be done by. Almost too simple, but it's all you need to get by. And they're trying to be someone with integrity. They're trying to see, you know, they want to be seen as someone who's truthful, who has integrity. And I feel like they're a good person overall. This is a good person. They're just, it's like they'll do for anybody. They would give you the shirt off their back. We also have here Made with Love. So they could have children, or there could be children in your situation. So take that as it resonates. All right, pile 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, I would love to hear your story below in the comment section, and I would love for you to be a subscriber to our beautiful soul family here. And if you do subscribe, be sure to drop me a comment and hit your notification bell so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. And be sure to hit your notification bell so that I can contact you if you're chosen the winner, because I've had a little bit of a difficulty getting a hold of my winners. So be sure to hit your notification bell if you do drop me that comment. And I hope that you come back here for another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope that you have a very beautiful day.